And so begins the 1969 film Battle of Britain, with British forces evacuating a France that was overrun by Nazi Germany in only 6 weeks. Behind them, they leave their equipment and supplies as they scramble for rescue on the beaches of Dunkirk, knowing full well that Britain will be next on Adolf's hit list. And quite a journey it's been for that seemingly invincible army so far, conquering Czechoslovakia, Poland, Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. With France now firmly in his grip, Adolf Hitler gazes across the English Channel towards the white cliffs of Dover, hatching a master plan called Operation Sea Lion to bring Britain to heel and claim it as part of his dark empire. For that plan to succeed, Germany needs air superiority before any land invasion can take place, and this will pit two of the biggest air forces in Europe against each other, Britain's RAF versus the Luftwaffe. And the RAF's encounters with the Luftwaffe in France did not augur well for the future. While Luftwaffe personnel dine on the beaches, impatiently awaiting the order to attack, Britain's Air Chief Hugh Dowding is realistic about the RAF's chances in the coming struggle.
Damn it, man, we've got 650 planes.
They have 2,500 aircraft, haven't they?
But Britain has an advantage too, in the form of a chain of radar stations across the country.
Churchill put straight faith in radar.
That's vital, but it won't shoot down aircraft.
The concept of radar was a British-German inspiration, with German physicist Heinrich Hertz proving the theoretical equations of Scotsman James Clerk Maxwell. Radar became the holy grail for military defence around the world, and many countries had systems in development during the 1930s. But by 1940, Britain's radar system was the most advanced, and it spanned the southern and eastern coasts of the island. And after attacking British supply lines in the English Channel, it was those radar stations that would draw the Luftwaffe's attention.
Yes, Stanmore, I confirm. No IFF.
Sorry to call you in, sir, but something's building.
Hostile 3-1, 40 plus 1-6.
Better bring more squadrons to stand by.
According to the film at least, it would use one of its most feared aircraft to take out those stations. An aircraft that had helped to dive-bomb nations into surrender from Poland to France.
Stukas.
But despite all of its victories, the Luftwaffe had yet to fight an air force that had aircraft as capable as its own.
We're standing next to a Mark I Spitfire.
Britain had that legendary aircraft in its ranks, and it had already cemented its reputation in the minds of German pilots by protecting evacuating troops over Dunkirk. But it would be its less glamorous partner, the Hawker Hurricane, that would take on the bulk of invading aircraft during the Battle of Britain, and claim many more German kills than the Spitfire. Spitfire! The Battle of Britain would expose a weakness in the Stuka. Namely, the fighter bomber's lack of agility in aerial dogfights.
Easier to hit than a barn door. It's like shooting rats in a barrel.
The Stuka would suffer heavy losses and would play a lesser role in the battle. British radar stations would often be knocked out, leaving command temporarily blind, but they were soon repaired and made operational again.
This is only the beginning. They won't stop now.
Ankles.
Now the Luftwaffe would attack British airfields, attempting to destroy enemy aircraft while still on the ground, as they had in previous conquests.
The mail? Nevertheless, that's no excuse to...
God's teeth.
The attacks on enemy airfields would continue, but the RAF would remain operational. The duel in the skies over Britain would begin to rage with hundreds of fighter aircraft in combat.
Indianer links 1000 Meter tiefer.
Now the Luftwaffe's bombers would expand its list of targets and begin to attack industrial and non-military sites.
Looks like London.
It's London, all right. And we've got everything up covering airfields.
Wo ist die Royal Air Force?
British Prime Minister Winston Churchill would respond with an act that the German people had been assured they would never experience: a bombing raid on one of their own cities.
Heute heißen wir Meier.
A furious Hitler promised a massive retaliation that would crush Britain's resolve to fight on.
2 oder 3 oder 4.000 Kilogramm Bomben werfen. Dann werfen wir in einer Nacht 150, 180, 230, 350 oder 400.000 Kilogramm.
Britain was running out of pilots in the face of the promised onslaught and turned to its reserve, which consisted of pilots from many different countries. One of those countries was Poland, and its 303 Squadron would top the list for Luftwaffe kills by the end of the Battle of Britain. A Netflix film called Hurricane can tell you more about their story. The Germans also had an ally in the shape of Mussolini's Italy. The Italian Air Force flew over British skies in support of Germany, but its fighters were no match for the Spitfire or the Hurricane. Hitler's response to Britain's raid on Berlin was ferocious and permanently switched his focus from airfields to London and other British cities. But this change of tack would offer the RAF the breathing space that it so desperately needed for recovery.
Turning on London could be the Germans' biggest blunder.
This new tactic would culminate in a colossal battle in London's skies on September 15th, a date that now marks the official Battle of Britain Memorial Day. With thousands of Londoners watching the raging air duels above them, the day would end with the Luftwaffe suffering one of its biggest losses since hostilities began. German airstrikes on Britain would continue throughout World War II.
They're late this morning, sir.
But on that day, any notions the Luftwaffe had of eliminating the RAF were forever forgotten. Hitler would dismiss Britain as a minor threat and march his armies east to conquer the rest of Europe. And that would only be a prelude to waging war against Russia. Britain's military strength would increase throughout the war, and it would play a vital role in Hitler's eventual defeat. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. There's plenty more to come from my DVD collection, including thrillers, comedies, action, science fiction, drama, adventure, and horror.